built in 12 weeks for less than £1,000 each. These houses seem one answer to the housing drive. With the living room, dining annex and kitchen downstairs.
Sound familiar? Well, that was 1952 when Britain was in the grip of a housing crisis following the devastation of the Second World War. Well, today we face a different battle, a housing shortage deepened by spiralling rents and house prices beyond the reach of many people. I'm in the Lake District to find out how churches can help and hear how a Good Samaritan made a difference for one family in Bristol.
She named this figure and I was just like, they knew how much this house was worth, but they chose to be really generous.
Also in the programme, Claire meets the man with the golden flute, Sir James Galway, who performs a beautiful arrangement of The Lord's My Shepherd. And with Lent underway, the Archbishop of York, Dr. John Sentamu, tackles the subject of forgiveness in a powerful interview with Maureen Greaves, whose husband was murdered.
I had no room for anger. The two men that killed Alan, I put them into God's hands.
There's an Irish flavour to our music today, with celebrations for St. Patrick's Day happening on Friday. But first, a joyful worship song reflecting the wonder of God and his sacrifice for us.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see. Beauty that made his heart adore you. Hope of the life spent with you. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Lovely you reign, the earth you created, over us Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. Here I am to worship, here I am to worship.
Throughout the history of Britain, the church has been at the forefront of social change, more recently campaigning against modern-day slavery, poverty, setting up food banks. So how are some church communities choosing to respond to the housing crisis? The Faith in Affordable Housing project works with churches of all denominations, advising them on the sale of land and property for the benefit of local people.
Churches are centres of the local community, and quite often the church building or church land can be quite an emotive subject for many. But actually, I think if we work to bring congregations with us in the developments that happen. It can be a really positive contribution, not just to the local community, but to the role of the church in that community.
Here in Ambleside, Faith in Affordable Housing advised on the conversion of an old Methodist chapel into 15 flats for local people.
I think there we've got an example of keeping the tradition associated with the building but giving it a new use and making sure it's still at the heart of the community.
8 miles from Ambleside is the pretty village of Coniston. Here the sale of church land has made a difference to Leanne and her family, who found themselves in desperate circumstances.
I love that.
Tell me about the house you used to live in, your old house.
Well, it was old and the walls, they were crumbling. There was only the wallpaper that was holding it together. I had to share a room with my son when he came along.
Oh, Leanne, listening to your children talk about the old house, what does that make you feel like?
The house that we did live in was actually a very nice house, but it was very old. And our last winter there was 2010, which was the coldest winter on record. We used to put the children to bed with their dressing gowns on.
Sam's getting cold thinking about it.
Yeah, it was very cold.
But before you knew you got the chance to move, what was the situation? What?
Desperate, absolutely desperate.
Why was there nowhere for you to move to?
There's just not enough housing. Coniston is tourist based and there are a lot of second homes and a lot of holiday homes, which is great because we do need them for our income as well, but it's now put local people out of the market to buy or even rent.
So that's not a nice situation to be in.
No, we needed to find somewhere to live.
At their lowest ebb, Leanne and her family were offered a new home in affordable accommodation for local people, built on land sold by the Diocese of Carlisle.
Over the years I've seen so many friends leaving the village and there was nowhere here for them to live. With the church developing the land, I know there's somewhere for my children to stay in Coniston when it's their turn.
Sam, what do you like about this house?
I like having my own bedroom.
Oh, that must be nice. It is a beautiful close. What do you think about the fact that it's all happened because of something the church did?
Well, it's actually a miracle of God's work that that the church have chosen to give up their land for houses so we can have a better life.
And why is that important that they did that?
Well, it's Christianity. Jesus, well, he's given us a miracle and he's given us a home. And it's just really, really good.